Now let's really dive into the ChatGPT functionality that we're gonna learn in these lessons. So if you haven't already, go ahead and download the ChatGPT prompting guide. And really what this guide is gonna be is it's gonna be an overview for prompt engineering, and it's gonna help you optimize your ideation process and really at the end of the day, enhance your output quality, because any output from ChatGPT is only as good as the data that it's trained on and the input and specifications that you give it in your prompt. So what is prompt engineering? So prompt engineering is the process of designing and optimizing prompts using NLP models like ChatGPT that involves crafting prompts that are clear and concise and effectively create a much more specialized response. And the three main principles of this are: one, being as specific as possible and really focusing on the criteria for the output. And number two, working in steps. So you really want to break large tasks into small chunks. Just like if you want to, let's say, grow 10,000 followers on Instagram, that's a large task that you can break down into posting consistently, creating content that's in a niche and aligned with your target audience, and many, many other specifications and specifics that you would do step by step. So prompting works the same way. And the last step is iteration and improvement. So you can rework your inputs to improve on ChatGPT's output, which leads to what makes a good prompt in the first place. Like I mentioned, it only comes down to the parameters and the data that the model is trained on and your prompt itself. And this comes down to clear and concise language, and then the persona, aka assigning ChatGPT to act as a specific role, which we're going to get into in the later lessons with RGC prompting and I want you to act as prompting. So those are going to be detailed frameworks that are going to create a much more specialized output. But to continue to go through the rest of this, the information and examples that you provide are key, aka your inputs. And you also want to ask for a specific task that you want ChatGPT to complete, aka your desired output. And then lastly, which we already kind of mentioned, the refinement and iteration process, that once you receive your first response, it doesn't mean that you have to stop there. You can always reiterate and change your input until you get to the desired final output. So with that said, we're gonna really dive into this entire PDF before getting into the production section in the remaining lessons.